Welcome back to another fantastic property tour, Rankin family. Today, we are back again in Nashville, Tennessee, looking at another gorgeous luxury home. And I want to give a huge thank you to the listing agents, Kellye Potter and Sam Coleman-Dancer, for making this tour possible. I'll be sure to leave all of the information in the description below. Now, starting on the exterior, family, you see that we have that gorgeous contemporary look. You have the painted white brick along with the wood accents. You got a front facing balcony. We'll get to that a little bit later on as well. Then you have a 3-car garage. So your single car garage bay is straight ahead, and then your additional 2-car garage is right there to the right. Now you're situated on just over half an acre. You have plenty of space between you and the neighbors, and look how long the driveway is. So if it's one of those things where you are entertaining, you will not have to worry about parking whatsoever. Now you do have lush landscaping and river rock surrounding the walkway and the driveway. So a nice touch to the curb appeal. And then I'll give you a better close-up of the materials on the exterior. So really, at the end of the day, this just screams luxury, especially when you're driving by. You will not miss this. Now, as we continue, huge covered front porch. You see the columns are surrounded by the painted white brick, and then you have the modern wall lights as well. Now, once you enter inside of here, look at the abundance of windows. A ton of natural light extends inside of there, so you don't really have to worry about having the lights on during the day. Perfect. Okay, let me get my shoes off and then we'll go ahead and get inside of this beautiful property. Okay, so I'll pan you upwards. Look at this. You have your gorgeous modern chandelier with the gold accents surrounding those. And then I'll turn you around so you can see the front door from the inside. So I love our double front door with the massive glass panels. And then right when you walk into the right, you have a spacious study. So you have your modern light fixture right above your desk here. Of course, the double doors extends inside of here. You got tall baseboards and then recessed lights. And that's going to be a common theme as we walk through the property. You're going to see a ton of recessed lights. So even, let's say it's a gloomy day like today, you can go ahead and have the lights on and it will illuminate the entire property without any challenges. So as we continue, we'll look right here. So they're doing a couple final touch-ups in here. You're gonna have a chrome rod in there. You don't have to worry about that. But look, as soon as we enter in the great room. So really, whenever you walk in, you see the soaring ceilings, the herringbone pattern wood ceiling, really neat touch. I've never seen that, quite frankly, in any house. So I can appreciate the boldness on there. Now, as we look at our fireplace, look at that floor to ceiling. You see you have your floating shelves. You got the LED strip on each shelf, so it illuminates that as well. So if you have decor or anything like that, that will certainly be illuminated. Now, you see we have our sliders. That's going to lead you to your covered screened in porch over there. Plenty of space. And like I said, you know, I'm going to say that quite often, but entertaining is not a challenge inside of this home. But look at the depth there. You can see how grand this looks, especially once we go into our kitchen. Massive vent hood. Look how huge that looks right over there. Then you see the flat panel custom cabinetry continuing. You got your matte black hardware, huge oversized island. You got quartz countertops. You got your bar area right over here. And then you will notice the cabinetry and drawers surrounding the entire island. So storage is not going to be a problem in here whatsoever at all. And you get to take advantage of that. Now you do have a pot filler. You see the quartz backsplash extending upwards. Thermador appliances. Then you have the panel ready refrigerator. We'll see that in just a second. And then you got some accent lighting right underneath those drawers right over there. And of course, as always, we open up some of these cabinets so you can see how much space you got. So you got a ton of shelving. I'll even open this one up for you. So you can see the stacked cabinets on top, and then I'll give you a better close-up of this oversized vent hood. Love to see that. And then, you know, my long-term subscribers, we talk about that quite often. Once we see a pot filler, the rest of the home speaks for itself. So if you're new to the channel, just know that typically is the case. Now, there are some exceptions, so I'm not going to hold that against anybody, but love when I see that. Okay, right above our island, you can see that LED light fixture. So that's going to illuminate the entire island itself. You got the accent lighting surrounding that as well. Then you have a built-in Thermador microwave. Right over here, you got your panel ready dishwasher. Everything is brand spanking new, ready for its new owner. And that's one thing I know you can appreciate. Look, you even have your manual still inside of there. So that's how brand spanking new it is. Now they are doing some open houses for the property. So of course there are some beverages in there, but look at this. So now you continue this way and then you have your butler's pantry. You already have your built-in sink. Right over here is your ice maker. Your quartz countertops extends over here. Your floating shelving, some additional cabinetry and drawers over here. As you can see, as I turn you around over this way, some more floating shelves. And you might be wondering, where does this lead? If you haven't guessed it already, this is your single car garage. So you even have a ton of space inside of here. And then we'll see our additional 2-car garage in just a second. But before I head out of this room, let's make sure you see the depth inside of these cabinets. So all of them have that soft close mechanism. And then even inside of the butler's pantry, look at that. You have the extended quartz backsplash. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue to our dining area. Look at this. You got your accent wall, huge. So of course, that's your 8-seater dining table, but you see how much walk room you still have available. Then you got your upper windows right over there. The recessed lights, modern light fixture right above our dining room table. So like I mentioned earlier, the abundance of windows in here bringing in a ton of light. You don't have to worry about any challenges whatsoever. Okay, so the cool thing is you're gonna have 4 bedrooms on the second level, right? You're gonna have your primary right over here on this level, and then an additional room on the lower level, which we'll see. I guess you would classify it as a basement. But you got your washer and dryers. Look how much cabinetry right above that. Counter space over here. You got your black leathered countertops over here. The flat panel custom cabinet doors continues here. You got your sink and some additional storage in there. And everything is soft closing. So of course, this would be coming in from your 2-car garage. You got your drop zone right here, or mud room if you like to call it that. Coat closet over there. And let's see how spacious 2-car garage is. All right. Pretty impressive. It'll just kind of come full circle. So if you didn't want to open up that garage door, of course you have that door leading you to more of your motor court. But I love the privacy glass inside of there. And I don't know if you've ever seen it before. I mean, you definitely have on the channel if you stuck around with me for a little bit. But there is we've seen a couple homes where they have the clear glass as far as the garage door is concerned. And, you know, I got some feedback about that, you know, from a privacy standpoint, really weren't too fond of it. So I can certainly see where you know, the comments were coming from. So I'd love to hear your thoughts if you like the privacy glass on the garage door or just the see-through standard glass. Okay, now this is our powder bath. Look at that pendant light right over there. So modern details inside of here. You can see completely painted black. You got your accent wall right over here. That's going to extend. So you got like a little partition wall between the toilet and the vanity right there. Nice little feature. Okay, now this is where the magic happens. Look at our primary suite, our king size bed, 2 nightstands. Look at that accent wall. Really neat, extending all the way to the ceiling. It feels like we have 12-foot ceilings in here, but you got the modern light fixture right above there. That nice wood slat, really nice feature. I can appreciate that. Then you have your gold sconces right there for your nightstands, and look how much room you still have even over here. So of course you got your dresser, you got some additional chairs right over here for a nice sitting area, that quick access door leading to your screened in porch. We'll see that in just a second. I want to show you the primary bath before we do continue. But look how spacious this is. So you got your floating vanity, quartz countertops, your champagne bronze spout, as you can see, as far as your faucet is concerned. And then look at that, those modern pendant lights. You got 3 of those. You got porcelain tile surrounding the bathroom. Look at how large this enclosed wet room is. And I'll give you a quick glimpse. We'll see that in just a second. You are going to have his and hers closets. Look how spacious this is. You got floor to ceiling shelving. You got your modern LED light fixtures. You got 2 of those. You got your built-in dresser. You got some additional quartz. And then you see that champagne bronze rod on all of the sides. And we've seen that in that coat closet as well. So that's a nice touch as well. Straight ahead, our water closet. You see our mirror. We have the LED surrounding that. But what I'm excited about is this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. You got 3 waterfall shower heads right over there. So steam is certainly going to be happening in here. You're going to have a ton of steam inside of here. But you got your freestanding tub. You know, we always talked about that as far as the, the tub inside of the shower. But quite frankly, we've been seeing that more and more often. So that trend is definitely happening here in 2025. Then now heading into our next closet, you got your closet island right here, quartz countertops, built-in dresser. And look at that, floor to ceiling. And you know, we talk about that so often, and that's one of those things that I can certainly appreciate. When it continues all the way to the ceiling, you don't have to worry about a lot of dead spaces, I like to say. You can take advantage of the entire room. And of course you have recessed lights in there. But I want to do a close-up for you. Look at this. So you got your dual sinks. You even got the champagne bronze towel holder right over there. Love what I'm seeing. And I believe if I didn't open up this closet, just so you can see that. Okay, so now, since we're already here, we might as well take a look at the screened in porch real quick. You are gonna have a fireplace out here. So perfect place to entertain, have a good time with the entire family. It being screened in, I know you can appreciate keeping the insects out and don't have to worry about swatting any flies or anything like that the whole day. Look at that. So you got the painted white brick fireplace around. You got your mantle right over there. Herringbone pattern in the firebox. You got board and batten, as you can see, on the lower exterior. So of course, if you open up these sliders, you have that indoor-outdoor living that we talk about quite often. But more importantly, look how spacious it is. And before we get out of here, I'll make sure to show you the view right over here. So you have your iron fence. You still have some yard to work with. And of course, the front yard, you got a ton of space too. Okay, so that looked like that was the entire first level. I don't believe we missed anything. Let's go ahead and get you to our second level. Now, you will notice the glass panels up your staircase right over there, right? Then of course, you got your updated staircase, more of like that floating staircase design. Then as we head up here, You got your accent wall, some additional windows right over there. I want to start over here to the left for you. Look at this. Okay. So this looks more of like that game room, but there's additional bonus room. So I like to say bonus room. Sometimes I use those interchangeably, but remember the front facing balcony on the exterior. You got your sliders leading you that way, but then you are going to have a full wet bar with a beverage fridge down here. So an additional spot for you to entertain. You will notice the raised ceilings inside of here as well. Now let's get you out here so you can see the front yard as well. So you can hang out here with your guests. Of course, you can have the sliders open at all times if you are entertaining. And this would be your view. So you have the mature trees surrounding this. Like I said, the landscaping, of course, you can see your neighbors right over there, but there still is some privacy between everyone, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you will see the modern LED wall lights out here as well. So let me know in the comments what you would use this room for. You know, it's always nice whenever you see some of these rooms and spaces, because it just sometimes sets off some light bulbs in your head about what you would do with it, right? Of course, you got your furnace right over here. So like I mentioned earlier, there's a total of 4 bedrooms on this level. So look how spacious it is. And here, of course, the queen bedroom set without any challenges. So if you have the kiddos up here, you have some family living with you, they even still have a walk-in closet. And then this one's going to be an ensuite shower tub combo. Got the matte black shower head, shower valve. And then that's going to continue right over here. So you have the white flat panel overlay cabinetry right up here. And there was overlay as well in the kitchen. And you know, sometimes I do get, after I go back through the comments quite often, and sometimes I'll see, you know, what folks are saying, if I'm getting new feedback and things like that. And I get, you know, kind of mixed reviews between the overlay style cabinets and the inset cabinets. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe we can create a poll or something like that. But this will be our next bedroom. As you can see, still have the walk-in closet with your built-in shelving right here available. And we just missed the rain. If you couldn't tell, it was raining heavy just about 30 minutes ago. I was kind of worried. I didn't know if I was going to have to use the umbrella, but we got here just in time. Now this is going to be a shared bathroom, as you can see, but you still have the flat panel cabinets. Got this massive pendant light hanging down right over your vanity. Then the herringbone pattern, floor to ceiling shower surround. Look at that. And you got a shower niche. You got your black shower head and shower valve again in here. And of course, you could always add that shower bench down the road if you need to. But with these being the secondary bathrooms, and this one in this case would be a shared one between that bonus room right over there, I don't think you have to worry about it. Okay, before we continue, I'll give you a better close-up since we're right up on it. As far as this modern chandelier, like a ring chandelier, really neat feature. Next bedroom. So this one is going to be an ensuite as well. Queen bedroom set, fit perfectly in here. You see we have had zero carpet. The white oak floors continuing up here. Similar walk-in closet, as you can see. Now you will notice the same cabinet doors and drawers as we've seen inside of the kitchen, but you do have the quartz countertops The matte black modern sconce right above there. And I'll give you a close up in the shower surrounding here. And you see the herringbone shower flooring right there. And then this will be your fourth bedroom. And like I said, so you see some blue tape here and there. They're doing some final touch-ups in here. But really overall, a great property. And what's neat is they just staged it as well. So I know I had to get you folks inside of here just to really see how beautiful the property is. Sometimes, you know, if I show a vacant home, it really, I don't think I really don't think the audience appreciates it. I know I get here, you know, some folks here and there that say they like it unstaged, but you know, there's a reason why staging does exist. I think it does enhance the appeal. So I can appreciate it. We just got here in time, you know, before it was too late and it's old. But look at this. Really neat sconces. That glass panel right over there. Inside of here, you got the shaker style. Quartz countertops. Really nice. They go really well together. Right now, we're actually searching for a home to move in, me and my family, pretty soon. This will be the second utility room you see, and it comes with a washer and dryer for both of the laundry rooms. But we're actively looking for, you know, a home right now to move in, to purchase, and we've been going back and forth with the matte black for our cabinets, as far as the hardware is concerned, or if we should go with the gold. Me personally, I like the white cabinet doors or cabinetry in general with the gold hardware. Really looks nice for, you know, us and stuff. So me and my fiance have been going back and forth on what makes the most sense. So we'll probably be moving in there around December, January time frame. Okay, now this is where the magic happens. Let's start right over here to the right in our theater room. So this is the only place we are going to have the carpet. And of course, what other place do you want to have carpet than the media room, right? Or the theater room in this instance. So you see our modern sconces on both sides. You see we already got our built-in projector, and what you see is what you get. Of course, the staging is negotiable. Most of the times it's not. But if the number's right for you and of course the seller, then we could always make some accommodations. But you can see how spacious it is. Now inside of here, you're gonna have an unfinished storage closet. You see our spray foam insulation that's gonna continue over here. You can always finish it, but if not, if you're just gonna use this as storage, you don't really have to worry about it too much. But you even have recessed lights inside of here. You can dim those, of course, and that way you have that theater-like feel. Almost feel like you're in a movie or at the movies. Now you are gonna have your wine closet right here. You see the glass door right over here. Look at that. Beautiful wood paneling here, and then you got the quartz on top right over there. Now, if you did want to entertain right over here, you have no challenges. Of course, on the top level, you have a wet bar, right? But in here, you have a secondary refrigerator, built-in microwave, your floating shelving, and then of course your sink and plenty of cabinet storage. You see you got your black leathered countertops over here as well. Look at the additional storage you get to work with. And then you're gonna have one bedroom down here as well, and that's gonna make for a total of 6. So you got your furnaces over here. Let's see if I got the light. Okay. Some additional storage, that spray foam insulation. You got your tankless water heater right over here. And like I said, they're finalizing some touch-ups, but a ton of space and a ton of room to work with. But this is a neat feature right over here. I'm going to show you this right now before we continue. But look at this. This is going to lead to your full bath. So this will be a shared bathroom right here. You would never notice that, right? Almost look like that butler's pantry that we've seen in the kitchen. But I don't think I've seen that before, leading to a bathroom before. But really neat. All right, so our next one right here, if you want to use this as an in-law suite, you can certainly do that because they have access to a nice little covered patio area that way. And then look at your full bath. So you see that off-white cabinets, or those off-white cabinets, and then you got the gold hardware, and then the floor to ceiling wood accent walls, that wood-like tile. It's not wood, but it's like a wood-like tile. You got your gold sconce right above there, enclosed or glass enclosed, walk-in shower, and then that wood-like tile. It's like a ceramic tile, ceramic wood-like tile. Continues that way. And then just to bring it full circle, this is where you would head out to. Really neat feature. Okay, so straight ahead, this will be your perfect exercise room. Can you imagine adding in the treadmill, the Stairmaster, your dumbbell rack, maybe a squat rack or two, the Bowflex machine? If you're still not doing P90X, then you can always do that. And then of course, you know, a lot of folks, especially in their home gyms, they want to have the wall-to-wall mirrors inside of here. So you could certainly add that. And they even have an additional area over here. Look at this. So let me know what you would use this room for. Maybe you could separate the two. So maybe you could use this as the cardio room and the other one as the weight room, or vice versa, right? But that really just depends. And then if you're into Pilates or yoga, this would be a good area for you too. And then this is where you can supply all your yoga accessories. And if it gets too hot, you open up those windows and get you some ventilation. Okay, last but certainly not least, right over here. So you had your screened in porch right above there, and then now heading back here. You know, it's funny because I use patio and porch interchangeably, right? And I understand that patios typically are, you know, an extension from the house, right? They're extended out. It's not necessarily under the roof or anything like that, but you know what I mean. I like to say both, but if you want to use a covered porch, certainly is fine. But like I said earlier, this is about a little over half an acre, right? So you had a ton of space in the front yard and you have some space in the back. So you still have enough room to add that trampoline or, you know, a little area where you can have a bonfire, something like that. You still have a lot of room. But other than that, family, that was another beautiful luxury home tour. All right, Rankin family, that was it for this beautiful luxury home right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this particular property. Is this something you could see yourself living in? Would you make any changes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you want more information about this home or any home we showcase, reach out to the information in the description. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss a tour every single week. And I'll see you folks on the next property tour.